Hey, how y'all doing? Y'all good? I'm just smile talking. God, Jesus, Holy Spirit. Wherever this conversation goes, that's where we going with it. I just open myself up. And then wherever I drift to, that's what God want me to speak right there. Wherever it go. And I have no clue. I like to surprise myself. So I like to be I like to be like, okay, where we going? I be shocked like y'all. Yeah, I was out getting me some lunch today, y'all. Some Denny's. And look, somebody gave me a free sandwich. They messed up her order, and then as I was sitting there waiting on my order, she just walked up to me and said, "Here, you want this free sandwich?" So I was like, well, okay. So I see if I can pass it forward if somebody want it or whatever. But yeah, so I was just sitting there. This lady just gave me a sandwich. I'm like, do I got something wrong on my forehead, y'all? Okay, so I'm in Ecclesiastics. I'm gonna read 5 because that's why I'm led to read 5, the vanity, because Ecclesiastes deal with Solomon, who was like the wisest man, and so he seeked out to try to figure out the truth, and so what he figured out was everything is just vanity. Like, he lived the life, he went through everything he went through, he learned firsthand, and he wrote about his experience, and what he learned is everything that you do on this earth is vanity, vanity, vanity. Not just physical vanity with the beauty, but everything you doing work towards nothing really, unless you in alignment with the purpose of God. But if you ain't doing what God wants you to do out here, it's all vanity at the end. So that's how he talk about it. It's like vanity of life, vanity of pleasure. When he finally got to the end, and it say with much wisdom is much grief. It say for in much wisdom is much grief. And he who increases knowledge increase sorrow. So guess what? If he got all this wisdom and knowledge, he also got grief and sorrow in this process. It's automatically attached to him. So while he going through with being the wisest one, and everybody like, ooh, I want the wisdom of Solomon. Do you know what you asking for out here, y'all? Grief and sorrow come with it. So I'm not gonna get into too much detail, but in my last video, I spoke on y'all. I said the angel death is out. I said, especially for the kids. I said, make sure these kids are where they need to be. I said, this angel death do not discriminate. When God send an angel out on assignment, it's doing what God is instructing it to do out here. So you have to get out the way. And God normally gonna have his righteous put up somewhere. God gonna watch out for his righteous. And if you ain't living right, surround yourself around somebody that's righteous so you can know how to move till you figure it out here. That's a word to the wise. Till you figure it out, you get in alignment with the righteous, because they going to hear directly from, they going to know exactly what they need to be doing right now. Put yourself around, surround yourself around them so you can have some kind of covering on you in this process. But in my last video, I spoke on, the angel death being out. I gave a warning. I said, be where you need to be during this time. I said, especially the kids. And if you look, since I spoke that warning out, you see a whole lot of stuff going on with kids everywhere. Like, you just see all this stuff. As soon as I spoke and manifested that word, boom, you just see everything going on with these kids. I already sent the warning out what God was saying in this process. I said, it's attack on the kid. I said, make sure, I know it's hard. These stiff-necked kids, God called the children of Israel stiff-necked. So you got these kids, they stiff-necked. So it's going to be like pulling teeth to try to get them to do what you need them to do out here. But do what you need to do to get them to be positioned where they not in the crossfire of this angel death that's out. So I sent the warning about that. In my last video, I spoke on death. When I was speaking on death and what God was showing me with the process of death, and just like everything started in the spiritual. If it's a process for life, don't you also know that it's a process for death? Like, you don't just be in a car accident and die. Like, that is not how death works. Death has already happened way before that person was even in the car accident that even, like, unaligned them. I got to figure out the right words to say. This is all allegedly. This is all my opinion. So, in this process, when you deal with life, do you think, boom, this person is just born? Like, is that how you think life works? God said, even before you was in your mom's womb, I knew you. The beginning of life do not start when you in the physical say, okay, a child is, you are with the child. Life has started way before that process. It's the same with death. And I'm just talking about just when Ecclesiastes talk about the seasons under the heaven. So under heaven, you're going to deal with a time to be born and a time to die. This is under the heaven. So we are under the heaven because we are in a fallen state. So when I was speaking on the process for death, I'm just speaking on just clearly the cycle of life. When you born and just the death that's attached to that. And one way my mind processed death, that other people might not process it like this, but the day that you born into the earth is the day that it's the time that death starts for you. So as soon as you born into this earth, boom, the clock starts ticking for death. The day that you born is also the day that the clock starts ticking for death for you. It's ticking. As soon as you burn into this earth. Yeah. So I say that too. So that's my analogy. That the day that you born is also the day the time for death starts for you is the day that you born. If that makes sense. Okay. So in this process of me explaining all this, and I'm just explaining just the cycle of life. Like, okay, it's a time to live, it's a time to die. You know, what it say, a time to break down, a time to build up, Ecclesiastes 3. And so in this process, I'm not talking about the death that's a sign when Satan comes to collect. I'm not talking about that kind of death. I seen that death too. And I right there and I watched that death too. That's a whole different kind of death than what I'm talking about. I'm just talking about you done lived your life, you done did your part within the earth, and now it's time for you to just, God is calling you home. I'm talking about that process for death. I ain't talking about what Satan got going on in his type of death. That's a whole different type of death in this process, okay? So, I told you I was in the room and I saw, the name being called, but I've also been there, and I also seen where, and I'm just gonna say, like, it was like certain celebrities, and so when they die, boom, I'm right there and I'm watching this. It looked like Bell. It got the head of a goat, body of a Herman, huge. When I say huge, giant size, coming to collect like the Grim Reaper for some of these people out here. I'm right there watching. So while people sitting up saying, this person that died, and they like, ooh, rest in peace, I see you in heaven. I'm like, shoot, based on what I saw and what I seen coming to collect, I don't think that person in heaven. Like what everybody saying and what everybody writing and everybody delusion of, ooh, this person is in heaven. Not based on what I seen. And I was right there with it. And I watched it come and snatch these people. Like a soul collector. Like they come to collect. So I seen the cycle of death, but I also seen when Satan come to collect too in this process. And I'm right there. And they don't care that I'm right there because I got clearance to be there. And so when God, the head, give me clearance to be there, all his creation respect what he got in place and what he put in order. So if I'm right there and he got me right there watching why they come to collect, then that's all they focus on right there, their soul. That soul. So these people out here, God can get you out of some of these contracts. But at a certain point, once you in covenant with Satan, he's coming to collect. He's coming to collect. You cannot finesse Satan. God designed Satan to be way smarter than you. That's the first thing. Do not let Satan trick you, because that's a trick of Satan for you to think you can outsmart him. That's a trick right there. Don't be deceived with that now. Don't think you can get what you want out of Satan and he not going to come and collect. He going straight to heaven. They call him the accuser of the brethren. He going straight to heaven with your contract. Oh, no, I'm in contract. And God ain't going to have no dirt on his hands in this process. So you can't get out the contract. Jesus can get you out these contracts. But just know, if you in a contract with Satan, once only through the Holy Spirit you can outsmart Satan. You in the flesh, you human, you cannot outsmart Satan. I'm gonna tell you this right now. Do not let him finesse you to trap you and make you think you on top of what you got going on, and you can just get what you want from him and reap the fruits of what he giving you, and you don't have to pay for it on the back end. You're going to have to pay for it one way or another. So I've seen them type of deaths too, and it's a whole different type of death. So when I see her and I'll be like, okay, it's a time to live, it's a time to die. That's a whole different death than when Satan and Baal and whatever these spirits is coming to collect your soul. Cause of your whatever you got in covenant and what you got in contract with. It's a way different type of deal. And I done sit there and watch both of them. They do not care down there. When they coming and they snatching your soul to take you wherever they supposed to be taking you, they do not care down there. All they care and all they worried about is your soul, and that they come to collect your soul, and that's what they come to get. Like nothing else matters at that point. So when I'm right there looking at them do all this, they could care less than I'm watching this whole process. But I watched this process, and it was with celebrities. And these people, some these people die, they be like, "Ooh, rest in peace." And I'm like, shoot. Now after what I seen come to collect, ain't no peace on that side right there. Not after what I seen and who I seen coming for this person. Yeah. So, and then God, like I said, I'm built for this. So the stuff I see, you can't see this. You wouldn't be able to see the type of things that God has designed that's not human. Like, you wouldn't be able to see it in the flesh with your eye. But God built me for this, so I can see this and just push forward. You can't see this. Like, it mess with your mind. Like, you'll lose yourself in this process. God designed certain people to do certain things. I cannot sing. I don't care how much I try, I cannot sing. So I stay in my lane. So I ain't trying to sing it. God ain't designed me to sing out here. Okay. And before I go into what I'm finna talk about, I was reading Ecclesiastes. I read chapter 3, right? And the last part of this Ecclesiastes, the last verse of this, verse 8 say, it's a time to love and a time to hate. Yes, the Bible says it's a time to hate. It's a time of war and a time of peace. So when I read this last time, that was stuck out right there, a time of war. We are at a time of war. So if you feel like, why we at war right now, we shouldn't be at war. This is the time for war. God has appointed this right here to be the time for war. That's why we at war right now. This is it. This is appointed. This is what God designed. This is the time right now is when God said, okay, now it's time for war. God already gave us peace. We had the peace before. Now it's time for war. This is the time for war. This is the time that God has designed under the heavens for war. So you with your carnal mind, God said, I understand and not his understanding. So you don't understand what God got in the works and what God got going on. But right now, this is the time for war. This is the time God has appointed for war. So we are at war right now. So, okay. I'm finna read the other part real fast, y'all. And then I'm finna go. Cause like when I read about like Ecclesiastics, I look at Samuel, it tickling my mind, y'all. Like the way my mind envisions Solomon trying to seek the truth in this process, but being disappointed to learn that everything on this earth is vanity. Let me stop. Okay. So this right here is Ecclesiastes chapter 5. I'm in verse 8 right here. It's called the vanity of gain and honor. So I'm just going to read this right here and see what it says. I don't even know what it says. I'm just with y'all. This is where God led me. So I'm finna read this and then we're finna figure this out, right? Okay. If you see the oppression of the poor and the violent perversion of justice and righteousness in a province do not marvel at the matter, for high officials watches over high officials. You got high officials, they gonna watch out for each other. They're basically what they're saying. It's like, and the higher officials are over them. So it's just saying everybody kind of watch out for each other. When you at the top and you see all this corruption and stuff going on, it's just saying the high officials, they watching out for each other in this process. That's what they're saying. That's what Solomon got out of this. Moreover, the profit of the land is for all. The profit of the land is for all. ALL, for everybody. Even the kings is served from the field. So, he who loves silver will not be satisfied with silver, nor he who loves abundance with increase. This also is vanity. So whatever your heart is, whatever you love, you will never be satisfied with it. So if your love is money, money can never satisfy you. If your love is women, women can never satisfy you. If your love is abundance and overabundance, you will never be satisfied. So it's like, whatever your love is, you'll never find satisfaction in it. And to me, it just reminds you of this void. And when I say void, it's just empty darkness, like something that can never be filled, like a black hole. It can never be filled. I don't care how much you put into it, how much you do, what you do, how you do. It's just going to be empty when you get done with it. Okay. It's like when good increase, they increase who eat them. So what profit have the owners except to see them with their eyes? It's like, what do you profit at the end of the day when you finally look and you just sit back and watch how everything work and operate on this earth? It's like, what do you gain from this other than just the eye attraction to say, wow? It's saying the sleep of a laboring man is sweet, whether he eat little or much, but the abundance of the rich will not permit him to sleep. So it says the abundance of the rich will not let him sleep. Ain't no peace. The abundance of the rich, it's no peace there. Like, who want to be walking around rich with no peace? I be like, no, God. You ain't finna have me out here and my blessing a curse now. Now, you bless me now. I got to enjoy my blessing. That's how I be talking to God for real. I don't want no blessing. It's going to be a curse. That defeat the whole purpose. Okay. There is a severe evil which I have seen under the sun. Riches kept for their owner to hurt. Riches kept for their owner to his hurt. But those riches perish through misfortune. When he begets a son, there is nothing in his hand. As he came from his mother's womb, naked shall he return. To go as he came, and he shall take nothing from his labor, which he may carry away in his hand. So the whole time you on this earth, the whole time you just driven by being rich and wealthy. When you die naked with nothing. You can't take nothing on this earth with you. Like, absolutely nothing. I don't care what you get. You got to leave every single thing behind. Nothing can go with you. And this is Solomon. This is what he has figured out on his journey of life. Here's disappointment. I can see it now. Like, in my mind, I can kind of envision him going through life, but then finally realizing the truth. And truth brings, what, grief and sorrow? Man, Solomon's so sad and depressed right now. Okay. And this also is a severe evil. Just exactly as he came, so shall he go. And what profit has he who has labored for all the wind, all his days? He also eats in darkness, and he has much sorrow and sickness and anger. I told you, I ain't even read this. I'm reading it with y'all. But I told you, I said some sorrow behind it right here. Because when you figure out the truth, you can't do nothing but be sad. Where is the joy in this? Where is the joy in you building and working all your life in the earth? Sacrificing all this labor just for you to die the way you came, which is naked with nothing. Okay. I'm almost through with this, y'all. I'm going to let y'all go. It's like, here's what I have seen. It is good and fitting for one to eat and drink, and to enjoy the good of all his labor in which he toils under the sun, all the days of his life which God give him. For it is his heritage. As for every man to whom God has given riches and wealth, and given him power to eat of it, to receive his heritage, and to rejoice in his labor, this is the gift of God. I told you, like, you ain't finna bless me and I'm a curse. But God said, no, if he bless you, it's gonna be good. You gonna rejoice and have fun in it. You're not gonna be a slave to the system and the system of gaining wealth, which I told you that he said, whatever you love, you will not find fulfillment in it. So you find, if you love like the earth, you just gonna be a slave to the money, and you're never gonna find fulfillment in it. But with God, he said he gonna give you riches, and it's gonna be a good thing. Okay, say, for he will not dwell unduly on the days of his life, because God keeps him busy with the joy of his heart. So you got to find, like, even with you, like, going through the earth and seeking your riches, you got to make God a part of it, or you're going to be miserable. You're going to be rich and miserable out here, no peace. So even when you seeking wealth, and even if you got money, God going to have to be your sense of peace in all this chaos that's going on. So that's what I got there. I'm just reading that with y'all. I really was just reading that with y'all. So basically, that was Solomon. He just going on this journey of life. And like I said, when he wrote, he said, with wisdom comes grief. With knowledge comes sorrow. So the more you know, the more you will be grieved and sorrowed in this process. And it kind of even made me think of relationship. Like, if you with somebody, and sometimes it's just easier to walk blind, so you don't have to deal with the grief and sorrow. So even if you with somebody and they doing something, a lot of times you don't even want to dig to even figure out the truth, because you know it's gonna hurt when you figure it out. You know grief and sorrow is attached to it, so you rather not know what your other person doing or what's going on with the person. Like, you rather just live in this fantasy world, because with truth, with knowledge come grief, with wisdom come sorrow. So is that what you really want? It's a double-edged sword. So you in a relationship and you got wisdom and you got knowledge, you're going to also have grief, and you're going to also have sorrow with that process, because you're going to realize the reality of who and what you really with out here. And it's going to grieve you when you figure out the truth. So, y'all, I'm finna let y'all go. Y'all enjoy y'all day. I'm just small talking, going over Ecclesiastics, recapping on my other video. And even when I was speaking on death, I just seen death take its natural form of life, and then I just seen Satan come to collect. And it's two different kind of deaths out here. So I'm gonna let y'all go. Enjoy y'all day.